All right, what's good, y'all? Let's talk about the Russell Wilson news. Let me start off first by saying I'm a Russell Wilson fan. I supported him since he's played at Wisconsin. That was the first time I ever saw him play, and ever since then, he's basically been my favorite quarterback. Pete Carroll, he was the head coach at USC, did legendary things, brought championships, the golden years of the mid 2000s, and basically I say this to say I support both of them, but I'm not a Seahawks fan. I was happy that they both became a pairing. I thought that they would become a dynasty, but obviously that didn't happen because of the infamous play at the end of the Super Bowl versus the Patriots, and everything's gone downhill since. You know, the defensive players, the Legion of Boom, Coach Carroll and the front office got rid of them. It became Russell centric, and ever since then, they've been able to keep going on to the playoffs, but they have not made any playoff runs. They usually lose in the first round, if not the first round, then the second round. But they haven't been able to make any deep playoff runs. Look, the offensive line has been bad for several reasons. I do want to say this. Russell Wilson is at fault for some of it, obviously, because he's always trying to throw the deep ball. He's gotten hooked to the deep ball action with Lockett and Metcalf. But also, I really think the O-line has been bad because of poor O-line coaching. So it's a mixture of things. It's not just one thing specifically. Coach Carroll's old school. He wants to run the ball, play defense, no turnovers. Russell Wilson, he wants to let that thing fly. Hashtag let it cook. He cooked the first 8 games. Had a couple of turnovers after that. And then Coach Carroll went back to his old ways. They won the division, got smashed in the playoffs. First round. And Russell Wilson, he's been going in ever since. He's been letting his camp leak things, basically do the talking for him. He did go on the Dan Patrick show, I believe that's the name of the show, and he did, open up a little bit more. He's a superstar quarterback. Clearly, Seattle doesn't view him that way. I don't know why, but I agree with Colin Cowherd, who's been pretty much plugged in to the Russell Wilson situation. I think that Coach Carroll and Russell Wilson are tired of each other, but they know that they are good for each other, if that makes sense. I think that I agree with Brandon Marshall. I think that Russell Wilson does want out, but only because he knows that Coach Carroll has all the power and he's not leaving anytime soon. They're not going to fire Coach Carroll. So I think he's looking at like, hey, if the front office is going to take Carroll over me, I'd rather leave and go to a team that will fulfill my demands. Pardon me. So The Athletic, if you read it, the article, basically they explained how Russell Wilson has been trying to give his own ideas to evolve the offense, and Coach Carroll doesn't want to hear none of it. And Russell Wilson, he even stormed out. I think this was before the Cardinals Thursday night game. I believe that's when this happened. But this issue has been brewing for several years. And like I said, Colin Cowherd was one of the first people who talked about it openly, had mentioned idea about possibly Russell Wilson wanting to go to the New York Giants so he can be in the Big Apple, and his wife Sierra can, expand business moves in a bigger market. So, let me talk about this as well. So, okay, originally when I woke up this morning, I read on Twitter about Russell Wilson requesting a trade. He never came out and actually said it, but still, it was reported that the teams that he had on his list was the Jets, the Dolphins, the Saints, and damn, I'm trying to think. Okay, it was the Saints, the Dolphins, the Jets. There was one more team, bro. I don't know why I can't remember right now. Then, oh, the Raiders. Okay. Then it finally got actually reported by Adam Schefter, and he tweeted this, that this is from Russell Wilson's agent. He said that if Russell Wilson did want to be traded, he doesn't want to be traded, supposedly. But if he wants to be traded, first of all, he has a no trade clause, and the teams that he would select would be the Bears, the Cowboys, the Saints, and Raiders. Okay, so pardon me. So okay, let me put it down like this. If okay, out the first batch, I know the second batch is the real batch, but I just want to speak on the first batch first. I think realistically, out of that batch, the Jets would be able to acquire him because they would trade everything for him. And number two, him and his wife would want to be a part of a bigger market, the Big Apple. I think the Jets would do and say whatever Russell demanded. I think the Raiders would be realistic in that first batch as well because it's Las Vegas. The Dolphins would be a great team for him to have chose to try to force his way to, but I don't think the Dolphins would fulfill his demands. They've already built a culture, and the last thing they need is someone trying to get control over the coach. So I don't think that one would have worked. And then the other thing, the Saints. If he goes to the Saints, then obviously they're gonna win the Super Bowl next year, unless Brady does it again. But it would be either the Saints or the Buccaneers will win the Super Bowl next year if that was to happen. So okay, let's go to the second batch. The Bears would be great because they're basically two wide receivers and a tight end away from becoming Super Bowl contenders if Russell Wilson was to go there. Because the defense is good. It's going to stay pretty consistent. And Coach Nagy is a good coach. But they need a quarterback. So clearly he would be the answer. Excuse me. Raiders, once again, because it's Las Vegas. And Gruden and Mike Mayock, Coach Gruden and Mike Mayock, they would do everything that Russell Wilson asked of them. I do believe that. I think, because they have more power than the owner, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. The Cowboys. I would hate that. Just simply for the fact that Skip Bayless pisses me off with any team that he supports. So I would, as much of a supporter, and in the fact that Russell Wilson is my favorite quarterback overall, I would root against him like crazy if he ever somehow got swapped out for the Cowboys. And the other team, Saints again. Yeah, they would make it to the Super Bowl. So yeah, I agree with Brandon Marshall though. I think that Russell Wilson does want out. I think he only wants out because Coach Carroll has too much power and he can't get him out. The front office has chosen Carroll over him. That's my belief. I think the only way that the Seahawks would actually trade him right now is if they got a quarterback back like a Derek Carr or Dak Prescott. The issue with the Cowboys, though, is that Dak Prescott wants to be paid $40 million plus, and Russell Wilson's not paid $40 million plus. So I don't see how. I just don't see them caving in to Dak's demands. That's why I think the Raiders out of that situation would make the most sense because they could get Derek Carr. He wouldn't complain. He would just follow the lead of Coach Carroll. And yeah, basically that's it. So I'm on the opposite side. I do think a trade is going to happen. Even though Ian Rappaport, who's well-known insider, he thinks it's not going to happen. I do think it's going to happen. Like I said, I'm on Brandon Marshall's side. I think eventually, even if it doesn't happen this year, I think it will happen sooner than later because the Seahawks don't view Russell Wilson how I view him, how most fans view him, which is a superstar quarterback. He's a top 3 quarterback. And unfortunately, the Seahawks don't appreciate him like majority of fans do. So with this long video, give me your comments and your thoughts about this situation. Do you think that Russell Wilson will get traded? That's number one. These are questions I would like for y'all to answer. Number one, will Russell Wilson get traded? Number one. Number two, realistically, who do you see him getting traded to? Number three, if it was up to you, who out of those teams that I mentioned, the first and the second batch, who do you think would give him the best chance to win? Who and then number four, who would you like to see him on? These are all kind of similar questions, but I would like to hear y'all opinions and hear what y'all think about the situation. Russell Wilson, I think, I think he should leave for biased reasons, but yeah, the clearly Seahawks don't appreciate him, and it's time for him to go somewhere where his demands will be fulfilled. That's my take. Give me your comments and your thoughts down below.